I don't know if you all know it, but there are something like 850 of these videos and recordings on Facebook and YouTube. That's like a reference library for the things that I teach, that Rudy teaches through me, that you can all go there, you know. And I think at the moment there are about 70 of those tantric writings that I did on my website. And those are really interesting. So there's a lot of material, reference material on this meditation that is, just have to go on the computer, you can find it. Now, does anyone have a question they'd like to ask? But anyway, look, ultimately, what this is all about is very simple. As I've said many times, the meditation I teach is not a religion, it's not a cult, it's nothing, it's a craft that will teach you how to build a system inside, help you build a system inside that will enable you to get strong enough to have a spiritual life. And whatever your karma is, whatever your religion is, whatever your financial situation, whatever your karma is, it will give you the strength to work through the karma and to really get to a place inside yourself where your heart is open, where there's love, forgiveness, all of the higher elements of what it means to be a human being. So this is not about religion. It's not about any kind of me looking for disciples. God bless. That's the last thing in the world I need. It's about truly the transmission of energy and the use of this meditation as a craft to develop a chakra system inside that is strong enough to do what? To just get a human being's heart open. God is love. And all that's missing is the time and the patience and the willingness to get deep enough in oneself to open to the place where we can truly connect with higher energy in the universe. It takes time, it takes training. It's a very bumpy path. You're going to be, hit with many, many different kinds of obstructions as you try to do what I'm talking about. But all of them have a singular purpose, and that's just to get a human being stronger, to recognize they can overcome all these encumbrances and difficulties and truly get to God. And that's what this is about. Not about being a Hindu or a Buddhist or, to me, look, yes, I respect people that are Christian and Hindu and whatever they are, Buddhist. But this is not about that. You can be a Christian and do this work. It's non-sectarian. All it does is help a human being to get strong enough to develop inside themselves a connection with God, higher energy. And it's really nothing more than that, And I love it because it's non-sectarian. It's not getting into all this righteousness. My religion is better than your religion. All this wars that go on in the world about whose religion is better. It's nonsense. I mean, it all comes from the same place and it goes to the same place. So all I teach is a craft. That's it. I'm trying to transmit enough Shakti and energy so that each and every person that attends these classes can build their own unique connection with God, with higher energy, and attain a state of enlightenment. And what is it to be a state of enlightenment? Just to be a happy person. To live every day with joy and love and kindness. And I mean, that's what the Dalai Lama talks about. And I'm not even a Buddhist, but he talks about that all the time. And it's so important because you can't get to God unless you develop your humanity. And if your humanity isn't developed, then the whole path to God is going to be obstructed with you, creating all the encumbrances that'll keep you from getting a state of enlightenment. So one has to learn to open the heart by building a system inside that is strong enough to do it. And that's what the chakras are for. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? And it's like my teacher Rudy said to me, he said, look, the best thing you can do for me, not worship me, not build shrines to me, not just learn what I have to teach. Use it in your life, build a system inside that will enable you to truly develop your humanity, get free of your karma, and be connected with God, spirit, higher energy. Call it what you want. I don't know. And there's no one way. Everybody has their own unique way. I mean, you have 1,000 different cars on the road. They all need gasoline. This class is gasoline. It's the energy that finds your path to God. This is not a way, it's just energy to help each and every person that attends get stronger, more open, more conscious. I hope it's clear what I'm talking about. It's very important to understand, not even to understand, but just to do, to take it upon oneself, to learn this craft, and then utilize this craft, this breathing and transmission of Shakti and openness, to get to a place where we're really nothing inside. We are nothing. It's like Ramana Maharshi said, who am I? He used to tell his students that all the time. And they'd ask, who am I? Ask yourself that question. And ultimately, you get down to, what are we? We're nothing. We're not, we come from one country for a while. We're men, we're women for a while. Everything comes and goes. The only thing that remains permanent is spirit. And in order to attain spirit, we have to let go of all of the different levels of, things that we think we are. Does anyone have a question you would like to ask?
Yes, Stuart. Is it a part of the inner work we are doing to not express our inner tensions?
To express your inner what?
Tensions.
Tensions.
Yeah, to keep them inside, not to express them, not to throw it out.
Well, it's not to express them, it's to learn how to use them consciously. So instead of dumping them on somebody else, if we take that tension and bring it to the chakra right below the navel, that tension will transform itself into chi, into harmony, into balance, and will make it possible for us to truly further our spiritual development. If we dump it on the world, all that comes back is tension. You dump your tension on somebody else and you're in a war, you're in a fight. You learn how to transform it inside. And then whatever you think, whatever a person did, you forgive them, you're capable of seeing them in a different light. Because most people that do things to hurt other people are not very conscious people. So it's not a matter of, it's a matter of learning how to use the tension to build an inner life. And you can do it by drawing that tension in the chakras down to the chakra below the navel. It transforms itself into chi, into power, harmony, that enables the heart to open, that enables the energy to move through the sexual area to the base of the spine, enables the mind to get quiet. Transformation of tension into chi does that in a human being. And then you look at another human being and you say, oh, well, they made him, they did something, they said something I don't like. Big freaking deal. You know, what does it matter? Is it worth going to war about? They said something I didn't like. They insulted me, you know. I mean, that is building one's humanity. And it doesn't mean you let other people trespass and do things that are, you know, that will hurt you. It means that you really are centered inside and you can deal with another person's tension, another person's craziness without starting a war. I mean, it took me a long time to learn this. You know, I told this story a million times, but it's such a good story, you know, where I went up to the big Indian ashram that Rudy had, and I'd been working all winter really very hard, running a business and teaching and going to school and doing 1,000 different things, you know. When I went up to I said to him, can I go up there and just chill out for a few days? Take it easy, meditate for a few days. He said, that's what it's for, Stuart, go up. I went up there. I'll never forget this. And I unpacked my clothing and I got a room and the whole thing. And I look out the window and there's a yard, you know, like a big open space field with grass that was almost as tall as me. And a tractor there with a device connected to the tractor that you could cut the grass. So I said, hey, there's something I could do that could, you know, I could put my tension, my everything into that and give something to the ashram. I'll never forget, I went down, I got on the tractor and I started cutting the grass. And suddenly from the other side of the ashram, this guy comes running, yelling and screaming at me like I just committed some kind of serious crime, you know, screaming at me. So I stopped the tractor. I got off the tractor and we're standing there like head to head. And he goes on for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. The tension was unbelievable coming out of him. And after about 10 minutes of just listening to him and doing nothing, I just listened to him. And I didn't get upset. I didn't fight back. I didn't get into a fist fight with him. All the tension came out of him. And the guy started to cry right in front of me, put his arms around my neck and said, thank you. Thank you. This was like such an extraordinary experience for me to learn that all of it was just tension. He needed to get rid of his tension. And I was able to stand there and say, okay, I'm big enough to be able to take this in my, and I knew the guy, he was a friend of mine. You know, he was a friend of mine. And all of that tension. And the guy started crying, gave me a big hug, and he said, thank you, Stuart. God bless you. Thank you. And when it's separate, he looked like a totally different person who hadn't yet learned to bring that tension deep inside himself, turn it into chi, and get that strength, that harmony, that balance inside that can keep the heart open. And then instead of screaming at somebody, even talk to them. You know, just talk to them. You know. Does anyone else have a question? I mean, I have told this story about 8,000 times, so sure every one of you have heard it at least 20. But it's such a great story, and it really relates to the question you asked, Luke, you know?
Mhm.
And it was a big moment and a big educational moment for me about how to deal with people and how to deal with tense situations. Stay centered, stay balanced, and then you'll be able to deal. It's the whole key to the martial arts. Stay centered, stay balanced.
Um, while bringing down these tensions to the chakra below the navel in this process, in this growing, I suppose we have to learn also. Uh,
Yes.
is it possible to do something wrong, to take down, to try to take down something that's too big for this moment?
No, because this can only take place as you build the strength inside yourself, as you build that strength. So it takes time. You get, during the day, you get upset, you get tense, little things do this. Take the tension down, use it to learn how to build a system that's strong enough so that no matter what happens in life, you have the capacity to stay balanced inside. It's not something you can do the first time, but over time and over literally years, you build a system that's capable of doing that. And you don't let all the external nonsense that goes on in the world bother you. But don't expect to do it the first time you try to do it. I mean, it doesn't work that way. You have to train yourself to truly how to do this. It takes time. Then one day it's just organic. You do it. You learn how to keep your mouth shut and listen and stay completely conscious about what is going on in any situation.
Yeah.
And then you can respond accordingly. Sometimes it requires a fight, Sometimes if that is, then you have the centeredness, the balance to make it as little as possible,
Yes. Thank you.
What I teach in its own strange way is kind of a martial art. But nobody becomes a black belt in karate. It takes time. You have to learn how to do it. It also takes time. You have to learn how to do it. Does anyone else have a question? Okay. There'll be class on Tuesday. I'm sure you're probably tired of this, but I always end this by saying thank you to all of you for being here. I tell you all the time, you all are my teacher. Your presence really demands that I go very deep inside myself and open to, and get strong enough to be able to do what I do in my life. So thank you, and God bless you all. Have a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Tuesday.
So grateful.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Stuart.